I've always enjoyed sports. I've loved playing sports, watching sports. When I was in seventh grade, even as a young boy, I enjoyed sports. I tried out for the football team at Horace Mann Junior High. I mean, that was so long ago that school, it no longer exists. It's a different kind of school. Well, the bad news is I didn't make the team and I was crushed. And I was so down, and I really, for a while, walked around in life with a lack of confidence. And different things I would try to do, I was thinking, man, I guess I can't do that either. But there was one thing I noticed as the years of my life went on. Every time I brought God into the picture, it seems as though I became successful. And the things that I tried to do on my own, I was not successful. And I realized that there's a difference between confidence and Godfidence. Well, today we're going to look at chapter 1 of Godfidence, and I've entitled it Biblical Godfidence. Now, first of all, as a review, what is Godfidence? It's simply, in simple terms, confidence in God. I define confidence in this way: it's the assurance that one receives when they place their faith 100% in God Almighty, the knowledge that God is in control of every situation. And also, it's defined as the anointed confidence that takes an individual to their spiritual potential. A good biblical example of this is found in 2 Kings chapter 6. It's a story of when the king of Aram was after literally to kill Elisha, because Elisha was a prophet of God, a man of God, and in the eyes of the king, who was not a good king, he wanted to destroy the man of God. Whenever you do great things for God, people will come after you, okay? So they went to the place where he was at, Elisha and his servant, and a huge army surrounded Elisha and his servant. So when the servant woke up that morning, his eyes opened up and he saw the huge amount of army around him. And he said, oh, he runs back into Elisha, the man of God. What are we going to do? Look at this army. And Elisha, the man of God, was calm, cool, and collected. Even though the army was there, he says, God, he said a simple prayer to God. God, would you open up my servant's eyes? You see, because Elisha had something that his servant did not have: Godfidence. Elisha knew that God was still in control, even though the enemy was after him. And when Elisha prayed that his servant would open up his eyes, the servant not just saw the enemy, but he saw the army of God, the angels of God protecting them. And then the servant now had Godfidence because God was in control. Ever felt like you were in a situation that you wanted to do great things for God, but then something happens and you feel the enemy's attacking? And sometimes we may feel, God, is there any way out of this mess? Sometimes God just needs to open up our eyes so that we may see that his hand is with us every moment of every day. And when we open up our spiritual eyes, we can have what I call Godfidence. I love that. And we see another story. I'm going to go now to Judges chapter 6. Let me give you one more story, since chapter 1 of Godfidence is filled with references to biblical Godfidence. In Judges 6, we see a calling of a man named Gideon. Let me just read to you verses 11 and 12. It says, the angel of the Lord came and sat down under the oak in Ophrah that belonged to Joash the Abezerite, where his son Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress to keep it from the Midianites. When an angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon and said, the Lord is with you, mighty warrior. I love that. The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. See, Gideon was an ordinary man. He didn't think a whole lot of himself. In fact, a few verses later, we read that Gideon was starting to give God some excuses why he couldn't be used of God. Ever been there? Ever been giving God some excuses? Been there myself. Well, God's plan went into effect. And when God instills his plan, guess what we receive? Godfidence. That's what Gideon needed. That's what God gave Gideon. Now, Gideon's army was only an army of about 32,000 men. And the enemy, the Midianites, had an army of 135,000. Wow. Talk about being outnumbered. But then God, in some people's eyes, did something a little crazy. He says, look, Gideon, you have 32,000 men. Just send the guys home that don't want to be there. Just tell them to go home. Those men in your army who do not have Godfidence, send them home. 22,000 left. Wow. That left Gideon with 11,000. I mean, 10,000. Yeah, my math is correct. 10,000. But then God did some more sifting. Yeah, God said, okay, you need to sift some more. So Gideon's army went down to 300. Now, if my math is correct, if you have an army of 300 and the Midianites, your enemy, has an army of 135,000, definitely the odds are against you. But Gideon had something on his side and something down deep in his heart. He now had something that he didn't have before, and that was Godfidence. Could 300 men do battle? Yeah, they began to blow the trumpets. They declared war on the Midianites. Guess what happened? The enemy, they turned on each other. They literally killed off each other, and God gave Gideon and his army the victory. The motion for Gideon's victory was set into place when he received Godfidence. Now, I doubt that you have 135,000 people after you today, but maybe you have a different kind of enemy. Maybe your enemy is sickness or financial hardship, or maybe divorce, or maybe even something like unforgiveness or a broken heart, or maybe lack of hope. What is your enemy today? Do you have Godfidence to overcome it? So, chapter 1 of Godfidence, I've entitled Biblical Godfidence. And here we walk through a number of biblical characters similar to Gideon and Elisha who had Godfidence to experience great things from God. And I also lay down 25 beautiful scriptures that talk about confidence. But remember, when we talk about confidence in God, we can really use the term Godfidence. Can I give you one of them? 2 Corinthians 3, verses 4 and 5. It says this, such confidence we have through Christ before God, not that we are competent in ourselves to claim anything for ourselves, but our competence comes from God. I love that. Paul is saying here, you know what? You may depend on your own confidence, but my competence, my confidence comes in God. Another way to put it is have Godfidence. That's right. So I'm going to make a few Godfidence statements as I close this little video introduction. And maybe you just want to believe that and claim this with me, because with Godfidence, I can say this: I am chosen. I am forgiven. I am redeemed. I am an overcomer. I have a purpose in life. I am blessed. I am highly favored. I have Godfidence.